Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Welcome back to the Travis Gafford React channel. I get pretty much one of those comments on all these videos that we do, which, is always funny. So, hey, take a second, leave that comment now, get it all out, let it go. Today, we're going to be reacting to Travis's most recent interview with Pobelter, which, as you guys can see on the screen, is from Travis Gafford's YouTube channel. Pobelter's story of what happened behind the scenes at CLG and his return to the LCS. And this is obviously a story that we have been covering for a couple of weeks now, where there was all these rumors, speculation going on with just what happened behind the scenes with Pobelter and CLG. Did he have some lash out or argument with the coaches? Was he benched for behavior issues? What exactly was going on? Because we saw him in the lock-in tournament, and then he wasn't there for CLG at the start of the regular season, obviously with their academy mid laner RJS playing. And Pobelter has been a big guy in the LCS scene for a while now. For a couple of years, he was the North American mid laner. Obviously, DeMonte has maybe passed him up a little bit in that regard and in a lot of people's minds, and CLG hasn't been as strong recently, and Pobelter's maybe faded into obscurity a little bit, but he is still a somewhat big name in the LCS scene that a lot of people seem to care about. So today we're going to be finding out the truth. We're going to be getting the story from his mouth, at least as much of it as he's going to tell us. So I think this should be really, really interesting, and a nice follow-up again from the stories we were talking about previously, where I'd given my thoughts and what I was hearing about why Pobelter is benched, but we'll actually find that out for ourselves. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you have not already, please take a second and smash that like button. I would appreciate it so much. It's a easy and awesome way to help support my channel and my content. It helps me out the YouTube algorithm a ton, so that would be great. Also, take a second and subscribe if you have not already, so you can stay up to date on all my latest content. Again, that helps you guys, helps me out. It's for the best of both of us. I would appreciate it a ton. With that being said, let's get right into this. Travis, what do you got for us?
The LCS with coverage brought to you by Alienware. It's the first day here, Friday. I'm joined right now by Pobelter after his return to CLG. An unfortunate loss today, but I want to talk a little bit about his time off the team and returning. So Pobelter, obviously there's been a lot of discussion about your time from the team. I don't know how comfortable you are sharing any of your perspective on it, but anything you'd be interested in sharing, I'm sure there's been a lot of speculation. People would love to hear from you.
Yeah, so first up, I just want to say a couple things. One, I think it's awesome that Pobelter is giving an interview after a loss. I know not all players or teams are interested or willing to do that. I still think it is good to hear, though, because, again, it's just a regular season game. You shouldn't be too devastated. You shouldn't be too upset. But at the big tournaments, even after you get, knocked out of Worlds or out of MSI, you're still, supposed to give an interview. And, it still helps out the whole League of Legends esports scene. It helps out content creators. It helps out media members. So I think that's awesome that Pobelter was still willing to do this. Also, I am curious to see what he's going to be willing to talk about, because obviously this has been kind of a crazy situation, maybe a little bit embarrassing for him, and maybe some stuff that he would rather not talk about, obviously, if he was having some kind of behavior issues or him getting benched or whatever. But I still think it's very, very good of Travis, obviously, to answer or to just ask these questions to see what kind of answers he can get. And I feel like that's a question that Travis maybe in the past wouldn't have always asked. So I'm glad that he's, starting to give the people what they want a little bit, which I think has been a frequent criticism of Travis in the past.
Yeah, whatever you want to ask, go ahead.
Well, so, I mean, obviously
It's
a lot
good
of
to
people
hear.
said, hey, it was like an attitude thing. Other people thought it might have been a performance thing. I don't know. From your perspective, perhaps you could say, why do you think you ended up not competing on the LCS team for a little bit?
Yeah, so I think the wording of it was pretty, misinterpreted by a lot of people, attitude issues, which is what was cited. Basically, I was not seeing eye to eye with the coaching staff on a couple of things, and then they also thought I should have been communicating that in a way that was more, I think I phrased that weirdly. Basically, it was they'd come to me with ideas, and then, they felt like I was shooting it down, rather than kind of hearing them out and listening to them more and talking to them more. And, that was sort of one part of it. Another part of that was that they felt like RJS was doing really well in Academy, and they wanted to just see how he did in LCS. But it wasn't an attitude issue, I think, in the sense of oh, I'm being really toxic, or I'm being a dick. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's awesome that obviously he's clearing that up and clarifying a little bit, if that is the truth, because again, I really do believe there's always three sides to every story. You get maybe CLG's side, you get Pobelter's side, and then maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle. But if that is the truth, that's great to hear in a lot of different ways. One, I just was curious about what the actual truth was, so that's awesome to hear. And then two, it's good to hear that, yeah, he wasn't just being like toxic or a dickhead or something like that behind the scenes, which I believe at the time that he got benched, that was something that I said, that Pobelter has not been a guy known historically to have attitude issues. He's played on some bad teams before. He's played with, I'm sure, bad organizations and bad coaching staffs and all that. And he's never really had, a toxic personality, or he's been known to be a good teammate from all, kind of statements that I've heard from people and stuff. So I did think that was interesting, but obviously how he puts it doesn't sound that bad. Obviously, if they thought RJS was playing well, or they just wanted to see what they had in him, it's spring split, it's early on, there's a long season ahead. So I don't think that's that bad. And then again, if they were just kind of having disagreements about like how to play the game, or maybe their philosophies or some things like that, or just some miscommunication stuff, that I think sounds much, much better and much more normal than, yeah, him being toxic, or him like flaming his coaches or flaming his team. Because there were some really, really crazy rumors going around where people were like, oh yeah, Pobelter is sick and tired of playing with CLG. CLG sucks, and now he's taking a stand. Like, it does not sound like that's what happened at all. Again, if this is the truth. But I do think this sounds really great for him and for CLG. But also, I would be curious to hear about, there was the rumor that he demanded a trade or something like that. So hopefully Travis asked him about that. If not, we'd love to get some more clarification, because obviously Pobelter's kind of downplaying this whole situation and scenario. But I mean, if he demanded a trade after, maybe there's a little bit more something to it here. I don't know for sure.
Let's say, so then you ended up playing in Academy. What was that experience like? I don't know if that, because sometimes I interview people who end up playing in Academy and they're like, oh, it allowed me to like expand my champion pool or try a lot of different stuff or whatever. I don't know if you feel like you gained anything from that time.
I think it was helpful actually. It was definitely not like time wasted or anything like that, and I actually kind of enjoyed playing with the academy team. It's a bunch of like younger rookies. We have some imports from Australia, so it felt really like I'm playing with a bunch of fresh players. Everyone was just super like excited and dedicated to getting better. So I really like the atmosphere on the team, and yeah, I mean, I was still able to work on a lot of my play individually, despite it's academy and not LCS. That didn't really make a big impact.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's a great response by him, because, yeah, a lot of people and players and fans and members of the community, yeah, they see getting sent down to Academy as like this huge benching thing where you've been like shunned, or it's this huge sign of disrespect, or you're terrible, you're never able to make a comeback. And, for some people and in some situations, it can mean something like that for sure. But it's also an opportunity to go to a low-risk, low-stress environment and try and learn some stuff, try and get better, be around a new coaching staff, new players, a new environment if things weren't working out for you previously, and to show not only your own team and your own coaches what you can do in the academy scene, but also it's a stage to try out and audition for all the other 9 teams in the LCS, and maybe even other teams in the world. Maybe you get on an LEC team's radar or something like that. I mean, if you have the negative, pessimistic attitude of, oh, wow, I just got benched, F this, I'm pissed, and I'm going to, play like shit in academy, and it's going to get to me, and it's going to ruin my day, and it's going to make me play worse, I mean, then yes, it's kind of like the self-fulfilling prophecy where, yeah, you're going to end up stuck in academy, your career's probably going to be over. Pobelter's already on the edge of, getting more shots in the LCS as it is. But it sounds like he took it optimistically, and he was like, yeah, I get to play with some new players. They're all hungry. They want to win. I, probably have a lot of experience and things I can teach them and things I can show them about being a professional player, how to win games, how to be good. And he can get some energy and positivity and stuff from them. And just, if he was having disagreements with the coaching staff or whatever, now he's around new people. Now he's in a new place, and now he can focus. You're in academy. Winning doesn't matter. Getting better is the only thing that matters. And that can be so, so good for people. And I think a lot of players would benefit from that. A lot of players in the LCS right now who maybe look down on academy or see it as a horrible, awful thing, I think actually could get a lot of benefit from it in the right situation, in the right scenario, with the right mindset.
I interviewed Broxah last week, and he had nothing but great things to say about you, especially from his time on Team Liquid when you were over there. So is it nice to be reunited with him? I don't know if the fact that you're playing with him again, I don't know if it kind of brings back old times.
Yeah, I like Broxah a lot, actually. I didn't spend too much time with him on Team Liquid, actually. Like, when he came in was, like, the week that I had gotten the call from CLG and joined CLG, so we didn't really spend that much time together, but, I mean, so far, I really like playing with him. I think he plays well. I think he's really funny. Like he's really serious, and I think that's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. You know, if you're a CLG fan, if you're a Pobelter fan, if you're a Broxah fan, these are all great things to hear. Not only that Broxah was able to stand up for Pobelter and had nothing but good things to say about him, I think that's awesome. And that's, those are just the things that we have come to kind of expect to hear from Broxah. He's always a guy with a super positive attitude. He's always a guy who, as long as you are a good person and a good teammate, he will let the world know. He will speak out in defense of you. We saw that with Double Lift a little bit in the past, and we are seeing that again with Pobelter here. And then, on the other side, Pobelter saying that, yeah, he likes him a lot. He respects him a lot. He thinks he's a cool guy. He thinks he's nice, fun, likes hanging out with him, playing with him, all that stuff. I think that's a great sign for the future, the short-term future of the CLG team, because obviously the beginning of the season, first half spring split, even now we're like a week past the first half of the spring split, has not gone very well for Pobelter, for Broxah, for CLG fans, for the organization, for the coaching staff. And, mid-junk synergy is a big thing. They finally have, hopefully they've decided on a roster, which would be nice to see if they are able to finally, have Broxah here in the United States, have Finn here, have their starting mid laner in Pobelter not having issues and actually starting to get into play. Maybe this team can actually start winning some games, because me and a lot of other people never really expected CLG to be one of the top teams in the LCS by any means, but we also didn't expect them to be last or ninth or anything like that. I think they are definitely a talented enough team to make a run to like 6th place, to maybe make the playoffs in the spring split, and then, maybe have a cool best of 5 against another team or something like that, which I think would be interesting, and I think would be a good sign of turnaround for the CLG roster. But then again, a lot of these players are potentially playing for their future careers. Like a guy like Pobelter, he probably doesn't have many chances left. He probably doesn't have many shots left. Broxah probably doesn't have many chances left. Probably doesn't have many shots left. Finn, Wild Turtle Smoothie, literally the whole CLG roster should be so hungry. They should be playing absolutely out of their minds. They should be giving it everything they've got, because these guys are all really playing for their next contract, playing for their next opportunity. All of these guys are kind of teetering on the edge of potentially being out of the LCS, potentially being out of competitive and professional League of Legends altogether. So I think the CLG we saw in the first half of the spring split is definitely not the CLG team we're going to see the rest of the year, but it's going to be interesting to see just how good this team can get now that some of the things are kind of falling into place for them. And I think it's never a super exciting time to be a CLG fan. I would never say, it's good to be a CLG fan right now, especially with how things are going. But I think if you are a CLG fan, I think the rest of the year is going to be quite a bit better than it's been so far. And I think this is the first bit of good news, again, to hear that maybe the Pobelter situation wasn't as bad as people made it sound, and also that he's ready to go. He's getting along with his teammates. He likes his teammates like him, and they're ready to play some League of Legends. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. I would appreciate it so much. It really helps out my channel and my content. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about this whole situation? Do you think CLG is ready to make a turnaround in their season, or do you think they still suck? You think they're still going to finish towards the bottom? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!